Hey everyone, Ashley here, coming to you with my last video on Beautiful Disaster. I stayed up last night until 3 a.m. reading it. I finished it. I tried stopping, but I couldn't. I could not stop reading this book. I kept saying to myself, one more chapter, one more chapter, one more chapter, and before I knew it, I was at 100% and it was 3 a.m. This was an extremely good book. I loved the ending. I think the ending did it for me. I really could not stop reading it last night. So a lot happens in this book, and you'll just be like, what? And you will not be able to stop reading it. So I left off with Vegas. They cut home from Vegas. Travis makes a decision that she did not agree with, and she leaves him. She left, and he was a wreck. She didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do. They were both miserable. She does end up going to Thanksgiving at his house and cooking dinner for his brothers and father, and they act like they're together, but they're not. Somehow his father realized that they weren't, and like kind of knew that they weren't, but you don't really find that out until like a little later on in the book towards the end. But so they spend a lot of time apart. They go through Christmas without being together, winter break, until finally one night, America gets Abby to go to the apartment with her. And he walks in the door with another woman from the club with a box of condoms in his hand, and she freaks out. He gets all upset saying, hey, you broke up with me, why are you acting like this? Like, I'm trying to move on and you're not letting me. So they get into a huge argument there, and then they stop talking to each other. She kind of sort of started hanging out with Parker again. He didn't like that too much and tried telling Parker in a very mean way that, hey, Abby's mine, she'll always be mine, we belong together. Abby didn't like that too much when she found out that he was kind of pushing her away from Parker again. He ends up going to having one last fight, and he tells her, hey, can you come, I really need you there. And he gets his older brother, to come to protect Abby while he's fighting. And the building, Travis, I'm not going to say if he won or not, but the building ended up catching on fire, and they found themselves in a total mess. And so they find, I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, so I'm trying to think, like, I don't want to spoil too much for you guys. They definitely get themselves into a little bit of trouble, but everything was okay at the end. The very, very ending, after all that happened, the fire and everything, they finally realized that they should be together, and they do end up in Vegas again. They end up in Vegas, and I'm not going to tell you what happens, but what happens in Vegas must stay in Vegas, I guess. So I left my Kindle on acknowledgments because I thought it was very interesting when I read this last night at the very end that the author, Jamie McGuire, mentions E.L. James. So I thought that was very interesting. You guys got to read this book. Definitely download it, buy it, read it. It is a great read. I loved it. I read it in like 4 or 5 days, and usually I take my time reading books. I usually don't read books that fast, but I couldn't stop reading this book. And like I said last night, it was 3 a.m. and I was done with it, so I couldn't stop reading it. So definitely download this, okay? Read it. It's a great read. So happy readings, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.